what's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 cent video. And for this one, we're going to be doing a video game one, and we're going to be talking about three topics, though. The one is the Switch graphical argument that has came out this week, though. Brianna Wu, who was part of the whole Gamergate controversy, running for Congress. And finally, my thoughts on the Assassin Creed movie that I saw today. So why don't we get started with the first part of our video, though, and that is the Switch's graphics. Now, over the week, though, there has been sort of a debate back and forth between the Switch. Is it as powerful as the PS4 or Xbox One? Is it not, though? A lot of it had to do with basically a report from VentureBeat, and again, the article, I think it's in one of my past videos, though, basically mentioned the whole argument that, you know, it's going to be extremely weak. It's using a Tegra chip, but using a Maxwell chip, not the Pascal chip. And this set off like a huge firestorm all over this, as we've probably seen so far. And the whole argument is that Switch is going to fail, the Switch is going to be weak, and all that stuff, which kind of contradicts some of the arguments that have come out earlier this week. I mean, earlier before, which many developers are happy with the Switch, though, and the fact that we've heard now, I think a Vulkan software will be able to be used on the Nintendo Switch. And I have to say, my personal opinion about all this is that I personally do believe, and I think I said this in my last video, but I'm going to say it here, though, is that I really think a lot of people are overreacting over something they do not have any knowledge or know anything about, though, okay? I mean, I'm not a game developer. I mean, I'm just a guy who enjoys playing video games, okay? I don't know what's exactly in the Nintendo Switch other than the information that has come out right now. The only thing we do know is that NVIDIA is working with Nintendo on the Switch, and they're creating a special customized chip. That's it. I don't know if it's a Pascal or a Maxwell or a Tegra, and quite frankly, it doesn't bother me what chip it ultimately becomes, though, okay? To me, it's clear if anybody who has followed Nintendo in the past, though, it's clear after the GameCube they decided to get out of the graphical arm race and do something else, though. Sometimes that has paid off well, like the DS and the Wii. Sometimes it hasn't worked so well at all, like the Wii U, for example, though. For me, though, what I would like to see from the Nintendo Switch, the way I see it in terms of graphics, is that I do agree with the argument that it's gameplay over graphics, and that's true, and that argument still holds, though. You can have the most shiniest graphics if you want to, but that's not going to mean anything if you don't have a game with solid gameplay and all. So, yes, I do think that argument is true. At the same time, I do think that in order for a developer to create the kind of game they want to create, you need to basically have, you know, the system needs to be able to handle the kind of graphics that the developers want to make for their game. I mean, look at, like, look at Naughty Dog, for example, with a lot of their games. I mean, visually, not only does it look good, but it plays good as well. So, for me, for the Nintendo Switch, though, my thing is that even though I know Nintendo is not going to go into the graphics arms race, for me, I think the Nintendo Switch needs to be powerful enough so that third parties, whether you're first, second, third party, or any developer, that you won't run into big issues to port your games over. Okay, I understand we're not going to get every third party developer developing for the Nintendo Switch. I mean, that's pretty obvious, though. But I'm hoping that we get enough third-party developers that it fixes one of the problems that has plagued the Wii U, and that is the drought issue, where a lot of games, very few games are coming out for the Nintendo Wii U, though. So, as far as the graphics goes, in my opinion, and I still stand behind this, however, is the fact that I'm going to wait until January 12th. And the reason why I'm waiting and not panicking, though, is that, and again, I've said this before and I'll say this again, in this day and age where there's a lot of fake news out there, Again, see Pizzagate as an example of this, though. A person can spread a false, misleading information, and when people don't fact check it, though, they basically look like fools or look like a bunch of idiots, though. I mean, remember what happened when the NX controller, now known as the Switch, was leaked earlier this year? People were flipping out over it, claiming it looked ugly and all that stuff. Only they looked like idiots when it turned out to be not only was that controller fake, but the guy who made the controller came out and openly admitted that this was a fake controller, though. So I'm not dismissing VentureBeat's or, Digital Foundry's take on the situation, though, but I'm taking a more cautious approach, and I think a lot of people out there should. Let's wait until January 12th and 13th come. Let's wait until after that NDA comes out, and then we'll know for certain what exactly is in the Switch, though. I am curious to exactly what it is, and let's hope, and I'm hoping, though, that it's powerful enough. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to be PS4 or Xbox One powerful, but it's powerful enough that it can do what Nintendo supposedly advertised for what it does, and I do hope we get a lot of third-party support for it, though. So, again, I have a link to some of these stories, though, and you can check it out yourself, however. And we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, I'm going to talk about part 2, which this one will be a bit controversial for a lot of people, and that is Brianna Wu running for U.S. Congress. For a seat in the Congress, though, and some of the controversy, and she was part of the whole Gamergate, though. So we'll take a little break, and we will be right back. And we are back with part 2 of our video, and today I'm going to be talking about one, but it's going to be a bit controversial, and I'm sure no matter how I'm going to say it, though, no matter how I'm going to word it, though, I'm either going to be called, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will either disagree with me or go as far as calling me an evil SJW progressive whatsoever, though. And believe me, I've heard that argument many times. Hell, I've been called out that because I supported Hillary, even though I've criticized the way Sony's handled the Ghostbusters movies, but because I supported Hillary, it doesn't matter that I criticized the Ghostbusters movie. I'm an evil SJW according to some of these idiots out there. Alright, so I'm pretty sure by now some of you may have heard about this, though, but it seems as though that Brianna Wu, a game developer who was involved in the whole Gamergate controversy, is considering running for Congress, though, according to part of this article. And again, I have a link in the description. You can read the article yourself and come to your own conclusion, though. Some of the articles point out that she said that she wants her campaign to focus on parts of privacy rights and online harassment, but also wider economy. My computer's a little riggy. Which she said is rigged against Massachusetts family. On election night, I was standing 30 feet away from where Hillary should have accepted the presidency. I had planned to go back to Boston and work on shipping our next game, but I knew I couldn't do that, Wu said Thursday in an email to the Associated Press, calling President-elect Donald Trump an incredible threat to the United States of America and values, though. I partially don't disagree. I think Trump is an idiot. Again, that's my opinion alone, though. While Wu says she wants to run for one of Massachusetts' 9 U.S. House's seats, I believe it's Congress. If I said Senate, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. She has not announced which one. She said it will be in the greater Boston area, and she won't challenge, Representative Kathleen Clark, again, apologize if I say her name wrong, though, whose district covers a swath of the city's northern and western suburbs, though. Again, I have the stories you can read in the description, though. I have the link there, so you can read it yourself, come to your conclusion. Okay. Here's how I'm going to look at this, though. Here's how I'm looking at this from two areas. One, I am not completely against Gamergate. I am not against the argument of disclosure. I think it is important to have that, whether you're a writer, blogger, a game journalist, YouTuber, I think it's important to disclose certain information if you know friends or family that work in the industry, or if you're taking part in a paid YouTube video like that. If you're taking part in a paid YouTube sponsor, there's nothing wrong with that as long as people are aware that is going on. Same with if you're backing crowdfunding projects though. I'll be honest with you, I've backed several crowdfunding projects before though. Shantae Half Genie, Shovel Knights, Mighty No. 9, Bloodstain, Ukulele, and a whole bunch of others, okay? So I don't disagree with the argument of disclosure. I am not against that argument for Gamergate. What I am against, however, was the harassment. Those who belittle people, particularly women who may not share Andy Sarkeesian or Brianna Wu's views, though, who were attacked, and people used the hashtag, and those who tried to defend them, saying, "Oh, it's an attack on Gamergate," when they did not go out of their way to get rid of the poison that was there, though. So I'm very iffy when it comes to Gamergate. Again, I'm not saying I'm completely against it, though, but I'm very iffy about it. As for Brianna Wu and her decision to run for Congress, though, as I said earlier, no matter how I'm going to say it, I'll probably be attacked anyway by it, though. I'll have people call me an evil SJW or whip out that old progressive card, which to me is in the same area as those who use the affirmative action and race card in any way. So here's the thing. I am not going to come out here and say you have to vote for her. I'm not saying you have to endorse her. I'm not saying you have to support her campaign or anything like that. I'm not going to come out here and say you have to do any of that. If she's running for your district, in which in this case it's in Boston, you can make your decision whether you want to vote for her or not. You do? That's fine. You don't? That's fine. If you don't even want to bother voting at all, that's your call. That's your constitutional right, though, okay? So I'm not here to endorse. I'm not here to support her campaign or anything like that. And I'm going to leave it at you can make the call, all right? There is one area I will criticize those who are criticizing her to run, though. This is the one area I will criticize. And I will say this. To those who voted for Donald Trump and are criticizing, saying that she should not run, I'm going to come out and say this directly to you. You are a hypocrite, okay? I'm serious. You are a hypocrite. I'm sorry, but I cannot buy the argument that basically she shouldn't run because she's not qualified to run when you voted for an individual that was not qualified to run in the first place, okay? Anybody who makes that kind of criticism, who happens to be a Trump supporter and actually voted for Trump, though, to me, you're an idiot if that's your argument against her, okay? I'm not here to say you have to agree with her. As I said before, you don't have to agree with her. You don't have to vote for her. You don't have to support her campaign. I'm not saying you have to do any of that, though. But if you voted for Trump and you're criticizing, saying she shouldn't run because she's not qualified to run, though, then I think you're even a bigger idiot than I realized. Because you voted for a man who's not qualified to even be president, and yet you're criticizing someone else who doesn't have any of the qualifications to run for Congress, okay? That's just as bad as those who preach about family values and then suddenly do the complete opposite of family values, such as, having an affair, for crying out loud. So I think anybody who criticizes her that she shouldn't run because she doesn't have the qualification and you voted for Trump, yeah, I stand behind my statement. As I said earlier, you are a hypocrite, okay? Again, I'm not supporting her. I'm not endorsing her. I'm not saying you have to support or endorse her or donate to her campaign or not. That is your decision and your decision alone, okay? So I know by talking about Brianna Wu that talking about her along with Gamergate, along with Anita Sarkeesian, no matter what I'm going to say, I'll probably be attacked by either side on this no matter what. And I have to say, I don't give a damn. I'm just giving you my opinion on it, though, and I think that she is entitled to run. And if people want to, if people want to vote for her, fine. If people choose to vote for her opponent instead, fine. That is your call. That is your decision. And that's that. Okay, so now that that story controversy is out though, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, I am going to get to part 3 of our video, and this one, I'm going to give my thoughts on the Assassin's Creed movie that I saw today though. So we'll take a little break, and we will be right back. We are back with part 3 of our video, the final part. And today, and for this final part though, I'm going to be talking about the Assassin's Creed movie that I just recently saw today though. You know, I didn't go into seeing this movie with high hopes for lots of reasons. Given the fact that, well, it's a movie based on video games, and movies based on video games don't tend to do as well though. I mean, not to mention the reputation they have gotten, especially with Mr. Bowles. You know, how some of the movies he's worked on with video games before. So, I didn't go in with high expectation with this one. So I went in and saw it, and I have to say, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, okay? Now, it's nowhere near the level of, say, the Super Mario Bros. Movie back in 1993 or anything like that. It's not Bowl type movie though. It's certainly better than those type of movies though. But to me, it came off as more of a fan service to Assassin's Creed fans. In fact, I felt like this movie was more geared towards them than a general audience though, because unless you are into the Assassin's Creed game, unless you understand the lore and the history though, you might be a little confused of what's going on though. Although, ironically, my dad saw it and he seemed to enjoy it, and he wasn't an Assassin's Creed fan though, so some people are gonna like it, some people are not though. The story I thought was kind of interesting though, and I am also glad that they were able to stay close to the source materials as much as they can. Though, I like the idea how they use the Spanish Inquisition, though, the setting. That's one of the big things about the Assassin's Creed series I do like, though, is the fact that it uses events in history, though. So it adds a little interesting take to it, though. And I will say, Michael Fassbender, if I'm saying his name correctly, if not, the young Magneto from the X-Men movies, you know, First Class, Days of Future, Apocalypse, though. I thought he was great in that movie. I thought he was really good, though. Don't know much about the other actors, but I thought they did well, though. Like I said, I'm glad they stayed as close as they can to the source material as possible, though. Sadly, I don't think, if I had to take, my personal opinion is that as much as I enjoyed the movie, though, I have a feeling, this is just my take from it, though, is that it probably is not going to do well in the box office, though. Given the fact that Rogue One is pretty much dominated, though, so... I mean, it's a little disappointing, but overall, I have to say, it's not going to change the way you look at movies based off of video games, and I don't think we have reached that point yet, though. But I have to say, to me, along with Ratchet & Clank that came out this year, though, this is one of the better movies based off of video games that I've seen. It's not the definitive one, but it's certainly one of the better ones that I have seen, though, and I would be open if they do a sequel. I really would be open. I don't know if this one will revive, the franchise or anything like that, but it might get people interested in it again. It might not, who knows, but overall, it was not a bad movie. It was a good popcorn flick, and I did enjoy it, though. So, there we go on that one. Anyway, this concludes my video game My 2 Cent video, and again, these are my opinion, but what are yours? What are your thoughts about the Switch graphics? Do you think it's a big deal? Do you think it's not a big deal? Do you think a lot of people are blowing it out of proportion? Do you think we should be worried about it? And what about Brianna Wu running for Congress, though. Again, do you think it's a big deal? Do you think it's not a big deal, though? Do you think people have a right to criticize, saying she's not qualified? Or do you think people have a right to say, well, you voted for Trump, so who's not qualified, so why are you criticizing this person not being qualified, though? And what about the Assassin's Creed movie? Did you see it? Did you like it? Did you hate it, though? Do you think the video game curse is still there? Do you think this broke the video game curse by any chance? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, whether you agree or disagree with me on the stuff I talked about. I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it, though. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alright? So anyway, this concludes this My 2 Cent video, though. And I will see you guys again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. But until then, I wish you all a happy holidays. A happy, safe holiday. So until then, from Southern California, I'll see you again next time. Bye!